Hey, how's it going, Sarah? How's it going? How is everybody? Hey, how are we? It's been a while. Let's just give it a moment because I got a feeling a few more people are gonna join. How are we, folks? How are we? Praise. Hey, how are we? Does it really? It's funny, Sarah, because I was actually thinking it needs cutting soon. Right. Got me trusty cards, folks. Got me trusty cards. How are we? Interesting things coming up, so we'll get to it in a moment. Before I continue, all what I'm speaking about is in this book. It's explained in more detail and talks about a lot more things. I did put a video up about my book, so if you're not really too sure what it's about, check that video out. Okay. How are we on this fine day, my beautiful tribe? How are we? Interesting. So I think the last video, I was mentioning how it was the healing of the sacral chakra. The good old sacral chakra, right? Fire and orange. Hence the lovely weather, the sunshine, yellow and orange, right? Healing, earth trying to say to you, it's time to heal these chakra centers. You must remember, we control everything collectively. That means weather, means sunshine. So when the sunshine's really shining, that's basically saying the collective and a high vibe here, and the universe is saying to you, now's the time to heal these lower energies. And so what we're going to do, we're going to gift you beautiful weather. We're going to gift you freedom to not be having to work, not having to do this, where you can sit with you, breathe in that light and heal yourself. What do you think all the hot weather was for? There's always a reason for everything, guys. Remember that. Right, so I've got my trusty deck. Ra, I'm with you. This is my soul deck. And then obviously, we all know which deck this is. So we've got two cards, and I will remember to do it this time round, because last time I kind of finished my video, and then the next thing I know, I was like, hey, I'm done. And everybody was like, what about the cards? So I do apologise about that. So thank you for your patience. I'm already feeling the need to shuffle these cards, so let's get shuffling. So over the last few weeks, guys, how many of you have been feeling that sacral rise, basically wanting to express yourself? How many people are really moving into that energy of self-expression and kind of like unapologetic as well? Men, women, both you come together. I see a lot more men kind of expressing themselves, being a bit more sensitive too, which is awesome, because that means you're moving up. And that means if you're moving up, we're going to see everything from a new perspective, from a male. This is for the males. Women, it's refreshing to see that over the past few weeks, I see a lot of women really kind of like bringing men into the situations and trying to really kind of understand that we are not just healing ourselves in this lifetime, but we're healing multiple lifetimes all at once in this one lifetime, where you've played male and you've played female. And so if you play male and female, you're not just healing those male and female aspects, you're healing those both aspects of yourself. So it was interesting because I got banned on here, so the kind of week rolling into the solar plexus was quite interesting because I had a lot of people messaging me and saying, why is my partner getting back in touch with me? Why is my exes coming up? Why are they all showing all this sexual energy and stuff? And that was the healing of your past, basically, in order for you to have a new experience, in order for you to have a new relationship experience. The universe is going to say to you, right, okay, are you ready? Right? You ready? Cool. We're going to bring this person who you was with before to see if you still resonate with this person, because that's basically saying, where are you with your understanding of your self-relationship? Are you still in that mindset of kind of fear, loneliness, desperation, or are you moving out into the fact that you know that you're loved, you know that there's nothing to fear, and you are not lonely? So as you move out of that energy and that perspective, you'll move into a higher vibration in relationship to yourself. When you change the relationship to yourself, then everything else changes. So a lot of people messaging me, and I'll say this again, guys, I will not repeat what I'm saying in my videos, so it's up to you to watch the videos. If you don't watch them all the way through, that's not my problem. Don't message me when I've already explained these points. So that's just a point, because I just get so many messages and it's just like, watch the video. I mean, one person said like, oh, it's too long. It's like, well, it's your life, it's your education. Take responsibility for it. If you think an hour's too long in order to grow, then that's your responsibility, that's your perspective. Me personally, I spend 90% of my time being open to grow and stuff, and spend hours reading books, watching stuff and all that. So you've got to take responsibility for yourself. No more is the world going to do everything for you. As humanity kind of like elevates through its transition, we're getting more and more lazy. Everybody's expecting everybody to do all this for us, and it's like, no, you've got to do for you, because if you don't do for you, then nobody's going to do for anybody. That's just the bottom line. So there's a lot of information out there, guys. I've spoke a lot about this. So if you're still wondering why X is appearing, if you're still wondering why, let's say you're a shy person and that sexual energy is coming up and you're feeling really ramped up and you really want to kind of express that shit, go and watch my other videos, because you'll know why that is. So it was really interesting. We are moving into, and I do believe we're in the solar plexus energy at the moment. Guys, this is going to fluctuate as well. So we're going to go up and we're going to go down. We're just going to keep rolling with it until the angels and the guides tell me otherwise, right? So we're moving into the solar plexus. But before that, there was just something I've just got to pull into alignment, because I'm all about balance. And I've already posted this, but I want you to see me. I want you to feel what I'm saying. Gents, I want you to feel this. And ladies, I want you to feel this, right? So I just see all the time, all these memes of like how men need to please their woman, and how men need to do this for their woman, how men need to eat a pussy right, how men need to shag her right, how men need to do this, how men need to do that. But I never see women putting out, or I never see anybody putting out, not even women, not even men themselves putting out, like, how to please a man, how to love a man properly, how to show a man passion, how to, because whilst it's all well and great, ladies, being in the divine goddess and that divine energy, and, the pussy's great and all that, men are equally allowed to experience that pleasure. And in my experience, I won't lie, there's been a fair few instances, they look good, a lot of women, you look good, but men seem to just like make do with that, like the looking good is enough, and then when it comes to the actual sexual energy and the sexual interaction, it's actually not that great. That's not a judgment, it's an observation, right? Because when you're pulling all into something and you're only getting 50% back, you feel that. And I find that it's more predominantly pressure on men to having to do this, having to live up to a sexual performance. It's always pressure on men to have to do this. And I just think we need to move that pressure away, because there's enough pressure on men to have to keep the fucking boner. There's enough pressure on men to shag for a long time. There's enough pressure on men to have to do this, that and the other, without having to put more pressure on what we need to do in order to please you women, right? So why don't we start to bring it in and say, ladies, it's time to please your men. Whilst it's great that you're in your bra and your panties and you can flex your ass and you've got big titties, that's great. But if you don't know your own sexual energy and how to use that with a partner or with a male, then, you know, you're not going to get the full deal. And this is what I'm about. Like, life is about experience, and nothing should be halves, it should be full. And I think, like, whilst it's great that we unfin the men to say, yes, please your women, stop trying to dominate them, feel into them and feel how they're, you know, what they're all about. It's the same for men, you know. There's absolutely no difference, you know. I never see memes about, hey ladies, how you should suck a dick. But I always see memes about how men need to eat a pussy, or if he doesn't do that, his woman will go elsewhere. But you never see, like, posts around that energy with men, right? But men are deemed by the divine, by the feminine, by society as the dogs, which is rather interesting because it's more labels and judgments, right? Gents, we're moving through this, so if you're feeling this, just move through it, it's all cool. But we need to bring it to the attention. So whilst it's all good, we like the physical look, I've mentioned this in my other videos, we must all come into the understanding that whilst it's great that men are to please women, ladies, you are to please men, end of. It's about that flow of a feeling, you know. Like, how many times, gents, have you had it where you're in an interaction and then the woman's like, I don't suck dick, but in the same breath expects you to kind of go down on it, right? How many times have you had that? How many times have you said it to a woman? Right? This is what I'm saying. It's like, it's equality in everything, and I will preach it, and I will resonate with it, and I will speak it, and I will project it in every way. Whilst it's great that we are to please the woman, ladies, please your men. You know, learn what he enjoys. I'll tell you something. I don't want to go into too much because I'm moving out to this, but I just wanted to say, one of the things I find is ladies seem to think that when you suck a dick, you know, it's let's have it dry like a sandpaper. And I just found that bizarre. It's just like, you need to lubricate, you need to excite. It's the same for a woman. You won't just stick your dick in a woman, you won't just go for it. You build up that energy, you build up the interaction. It's the same for a man. So ladies, kind of like ask yourself, are you really kind of like wanting to please your man, or are you just looking to kind of like satisfy yourself? And gents, it's the same with you. So if you're kind of like in that same energy whereby you're not really looking to please your woman, but you're just looking to gratify yourself, well, you're really not getting the full experience. So I just wanted to say, it's about equality. Ladies, learn what men enjoy. Just because you got the physical looks, that it's not, you know, that's great, you'll get the boner, but after that, and it's the same with men, you know, I've said in these previous videos, but it's more predominantly at this point, kind of the feminine, because I just see it all the time, and I just think, like, there's never anything to do, there's never any alignment of men being pleased and pleasured, and that expression, and what it is that a man likes to be pleased and pleasured, right, gents? Are we there? Is anybody agreeing with me here? Not that I care. So, we're all entitled to it. So, I just wanted to put that out there. So, you know, whilst it's great that we understand what we're doing, it's only fair that, ladies, you understand and take time to actually want to and enjoy a man, rather than just kind of thinking, I've got these physical looks and that's all I'm going to give because that's all I need to give. Whereas if the man needs to give his looks, his energy, and then his technique along with all the pressures, right? So it's about bringing it back, aligning it, and saying, look, we're equal in an interaction. There's no more this side and more that side. There's no more men and no more women. It's just in the middle. We should be really kind of like moving into this, you know. I don't really want to be seeing any more of kind of like this, men need to be doing this and women need to be doing that. At the end of the day, we just need to be kind of like coming in alignment and saying, okay, it's okay for us to express what we're expressing, but it's time that we show that we love our men as well as the men love the women. Right, so I just wanted to say that. So ladies, whilst it's great that you got your physical looks, it's not going to cut it. You need to know what you're fucking doing. There's enough videos out there. Gents have had enough pressure put on them by society and by the feminine. Well, actually, probably the dark masculine. We're a mixture of feminine with all these pressures. And so I'm here to say, well, I'm not accepting all these pressures, and no man needs to, right? It's about equal expression, equal balance and alignment. And if we understand this, we'll get better relationships and better understanding with each other, because there won't be no resentment from men and there won't be no jealousy from women, and we'll all come together and be one big fucking happy family. And that's what it's about. So I just wanted to say that. So what's good for men is good for women. End of. That's just the way I work. I've always been that type of person. What's good for one is good for another. And that is unity and balance. So moving away from that, solar plexus has been really, really interesting, right? Now I just want to pull this up. Current events, guys. Current events. Give you 2 minutes just breathe with me. Current events. 2 minutes. We all know what we're on about here, so let's just give it a moment. Okay. So guys, anybody who knows me, I don't get sucked into media. I do not get sucked into the negative creations in which we may be collectively unconsciously creating. But I do want to say this. Now, before anybody gets all irate and gets emotional, I'm stating this so we can get a better understanding. Right. Georgie boy. George Floyd, everybody. Now, whilst I do not agree for any violence, no matter your race, colour, background, religion, sexuality, it doesn't fucking matter. I do not tolerate and do not agree with any violence. But I will say this. In my videos, I did state that we are moving higher and higher and higher in vibration. And as we move higher and higher in vibration, the slip of the cabal, the slip of the elite, the slip of the mainstream grip is falling. And in order for them to keep you where you are, they need to get you to emotionally react. They need to have you emotionally react. Now, I said in my last videos, over the next year or so, it's gonna get more intense. They are gonna put so much injustice. They're gonna put wars. They're gonna make so much crazy shit show up on that TV that you are gonna feel like you're going out of control. And that is a reason for it. They need your negative energy to cipher it, because when you give that negative energy, they can plunge that into a creation of something more bigger and more negative, which will then be used to manipulate and control humanity and try to stop this ascension. That's what's happening, guys. You know this, right? You know this. What's happening on media. I do condolences to the family. If, you know, whether it's real or not, I don't know. I'm not going to say it is. I'm not going to say it isn't, because I've seen a few clips whereby it really represents something else which happened a few years ago that the media used to try and trigger an emotional response. Now, the shit that gets real is the fact that the media are known for triggering. They want to trigger you. They want to get you right in the feels, man. And they're going to keep doing it. And I did say we're moving out of here and into the solar plexus. And the solar plexus, my dear friends, is about self-empowerment. It's about self-worth and confidence. It's about reclaiming and kind of like relighting that inner flame. And what they're doing is they're trying to get you to just dull that flame. And they're going to keep doing it. So whilst you had the COVID, then you've got the riots, you've got this George Floyd, it's going to be more and more and more. And the more everybody gets angry and the more everybody emotionally reacts and then starts to cause riots and, you know, fight fire with fire, what does that create? A fire. Anybody watching? If any of you can show me how you put out a fire with a fire, fuck, you can... I will give you a free book. How that? Anybody show me how you put out a fire with fire, I'll give you a book. I'll give it a minute. Let's see if anybody knows how to do this. I don't fucking know. Does it work? So this is the point. This is the point. You know that the media have been trying to manipulate you. You know this, right? You know this. You know you are a divine being of infinite potential and everything is perfect in its creation. You also know that the TV is not your friend. Now, why is the TV acting like it is your friend? Why is the TV showing you all these things? Because it wants to trigger a emotional response whereby we all dampen that higher vibration, drop down into the lower. Now, I will say this, guys. Anybody notice the weather since this George Floyd shit? Where's the sunshine gone? Are you with me? I'm not passing judgment on the situation. I'm simply giving a higher perspective of how we can perceive this, right? Look around you. Look how the world's changed. Look, before this old George Floyd thing and the whole COVID thing, everybody was actually starting to come into their power and starting to really enjoy it. The sun was out. The universe was showing to us how much we were starting to come into that high power. Then all of a sudden, this shit goes down on media, and now look at the weather. I'll show you on my screen. Can I turn this round? Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Yeah? We control everything. Collectively, we control everything. We are working and we are controlling with Mother Earth. Mother Earth is a conscious creating. Our heartbeat is a direct link to the heartbeat of Mother Gaia, and we are literally all creating together. We're all creating together. So you've got to ask the question, what is the agenda of all, what was the agenda of the news for showing this clip? Was it for justice? Was it? Or was it for something more? And it's just interesting that they're going to keep, the more we rise, the more you're going to keep saying to yourself that you're awakening and you're moving out of, they're going to do their best to drill you back down into survival, guys, back to the root, survival mode, anger, fear, back down here. They want to, because you're moving up, right? They want to bring you down. And whilst blessings to George, and guys, I don't believe in death. If George, or whatever, if it was real and George passed, bless you, brother. You completed your soul lesson. We are now observing that creation and seeing what's coming from it, because you must remember everything happens for a reason, and Georgie boy didn't give us this creation for no reason. It's time for us to really look at it and say what's going on. And then what do? We start raiding and where is the logic, right? So we are retaliating from seeing violence by using violence. Come on, guys, really? We've done this for years upon years and years. Every war, every civil war, every shitty thing has been created in this way. They emotionally get you to react. They will cause separation. Now, how many people have noticed all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this whole COVID's gone, and now it's like Black Lives Matter? Guys, all lives matter. And when I say all lives, I mean me, you, animals, flowers, life. All life matters. Not just black lives, all lives matter. They do not show you the hatred, the violence, the aggression and the abuse down in Africa. They do not show you the hatred, the violence, aggression and abuse and the people killed in the East, in the Eastern Europe. They do not show you this. but they will show you certain things, and you got to ask yourself why. These things are going on all around the world and they are not showing you, but they will show you something just around the corner. Ask yourself why, right? We need to start to really kind of like move into it now, because if we keep on getting emotionally charged with all this kind of like media being pushed out, you're not going to, they're going to keep you where you're at. And I'm here to share my wisdom with you to keep you up, and that's where we need to keep going. So what do we do in these scenarios? What do we do with these events? What do we do with these situations? What do? We do not go out and start sending hatred and anger and aggression. Okay, acknowledge how you feel. That's great. But then send love and forgiveness to the situation. How many times do we need to be told that love cures all? How many times have people on my Facebook, do you preach about love and this, that and the other? Yet in the same breath, when something like this comes up, you suddenly move into that fear base and start expressing your anger. It's not going to work. I get it. But there's a reason for all this. There's a reason for it. The only way we will grow through it is when you stop being the reaction and observe it. And that's what I've been doing. So with this whole situation, it's an alternative agenda. Make no mistake about it. Make no mistake about it. It's an alternative agenda, and just be wary. This is going to go on and on. Like you think this is like, you know, bad or whatever. I don't even know how to label it, but they're going to keep using different ways and means to get you to emotionally react, so you're not positive, so you're not in your creation conscious space. You're in that kind of emotional energy whereby back down here, the anger, the frustration, and they want to keep you there, and they're going to keep doing it. They are going to keep doing it, and after this George Floyd, you can mark my words, in the next couple of weeks there will be something more. Then after that will be something more, and the reason for it is because we are allowing it to happen. And how are we allowing it to happen? We're emotionally reacting to it. We're sat in front of social media, we're sat in front of TVs, we're sat in front of this and saying, I can't believe this has happened, fuck them and fuck this, and I'm so angry, and do you know what I mean? That's all energy, and all that anger and all that energy, that's not love. That's going to an event to be created with similar vibrational frequencies. The only event which is going to be created by frequencies of anger and frustration are protests, riots, and so we have the physical manifestation of exactly what happens when you put nothing but aggression, anger onto aggression and anger. Quite simply put, how many times do we need to be shown it? You know, the universe is showing it's us again. We just come out of COVID, whereby none of us was able to come together to unite, everybody begging the world, can we come back out, can we start to connect? And the moment we do, we start going throwing riots, and we start trashing up places and treat Mother Earth like it's her fault, and we start taking out on everybody around us. Ask yourself, right, is that an intelligent species? Do you think where we're at right now that we can allow the higher beings to come in and to help us to evolve into our soul understanding? No. We are too basic and we are too primitive. Everybody's crying out for this new world, all this all injustice, but everybody's like still aligning with that energy. And until you move away from that energy, we will continue to experience, and we will continue to unconsciously create those events. And that's just the way it is. Just the way it is. I've mentioned it over and over and over. Do not get emotionally reacted to what they're showing you. Now, you know, if you see something that you think is injustice, I'm a Libra, so when it's injustice, it really, it can get to me. So what I do is, I simply, thank you angels for coming in. For instance, let's say the George situation. Thank you angels for coming in. May we bless George Floyd in this situation with all the love and forgiveness, and may justice be done for everybody involved from the higher level of love and perspective. That's all we need to do. We don't need to start getting aggressive. We don't need to start putting posts out. We don't need to start trashing places and burning cities down, because all you're doing, guys, is you're putting each and every single one of you in fear of one another. The system don't give a shit. The people in the elites don't care. They're in their ivory castles. So all that's left is people like you. You see? So they're using you against me and me against you again in a different way. But in this, this time it's using injustice. Very fucking clever. But be wary of it. Be wary of it. It's going to get more and more intense. It's going to get more and more intense. And my angels are saying, guys, that's what you need to do. Retreat to nature. What that means is retreat back to your essence. Retreat back to who you truly are and remind yourself that you are divine. The world is divine. Nothing is a coincidence and everything is in divine perfect order. And the main one, love, cures, heals, and resolves all. Because if we keep reacting, if we keep doing what we're doing, see, it's just the way it is, right? We are on the cusp of a brand new reality. We're on the cusp of a brand new world. People can't even perceive on the cusp. And whilst all this is going on, we are being thrown physical manifestations of issues going on with us, issues of power, issues of dominance, right? This is all solar plexus, self-empowerment, confidence. This is what's being asked. I said this a few weeks ago. I knew we was going to move into it, and we are in it now. You are being asked to reclaim your power into the soul, to breathe into the soul, and to send your love from the soul to the heart out. That is what you're being asked to do. Not to, start sending all this aggression, start sending all this abuse, what good has ever come from sending negative energy to anybody? Nothing. Do you want to know why? Because isn't everybody a self-reflection of you? So all that negative energy, by scientific law and universal law, aren't you just throwing it back at yourself? You with me? Don't get sucked into it. There's so much injustice in the world. There's so much we could really put our focus on and really get riled up about. Whilst it's good to acknowledge, it's the acknowledgement and the awareness of the energy. Through the acknowledgement and awareness, you can send your awareness and energy. Remember, distance is a man-made object. Energy knows no distance. So whether it's George in America or whether it's Bob in China and you're in the UK or you're in South Africa, it doesn't matter. You can send your energy across and it will have an effect. So it's about moving away and becoming aware of your inner power. Retreat back to you and remind yourself of who you are. Don't get sucked into what they're trying to do to you. And they will keep doing it. And it's going to keep going on. So if you think this is the end of it, hold on tight, because they're going to keep pushing it until we get to a point where we all turn around and say, do you know what? Whilst I see and observe this may be an injustice, I'm going to reclaim my power. And if there may be injustice going on, I'm going to go into my meditation, I'm going to call in my angels and guides, and I'm going to send love to that situation. I'm going to picture the whole situation, no victims, no villains, no heroes, no anything, just all one. In my mind, you're all one, and I perceive everybody as one. Whether you're the victim or not, it doesn't matter. So I would just see everybody and put that pink light around and send that love. And until we do this, we will not stop seeing these events, because we're creating them. You know that. We are creating these events for them with our emotionally charged negative reactions. It's simply that simple. It was just crazy that we come out of this whole COVID thing for everybody to go back to, the amount of cars on the roads, we've all of a sudden gone back to being aggressive and fighting one another and being, it's just, can you not see what they're doing? We've spent 3-4 months really honing in ourselves, understanding who we truly are and wanting to unite, then in that time, they're trying to undo it all. And you're allowing it. Come on. You're a divine being of infinite potential. You can see above this. Don't get sucked into it. Injustice is an interesting one, guys, because injustice is the solar plexus. That's about self-empowerment, right? How many people over this whole scenario, this situation going on, how many people are feeling it here? Right there, guys. Are you feeling it? Tense, maybe? Bit tense? Tight stomach or anything, something like that? And it's because what you're being seen is basically you're saying it's time for you to heal. And bless our George for that exposure, because it's shown to us the amount of injustice going on within us and without of us, right? It's time to reclaim that power. It's time to step into your light and for you to say enough's enough. It's just interesting. It's like, you know, do we learn? Do we fucking learn? Because it's how many scenarios, how many wars, how many fake terrorist attacks, how many injustices do we need to be shown? And do we need to emotionally react to and start hurting everybody around us until we realise that what they're doing is actually just trying to hurt ourselves by ourselves? You know, and that's why this whole George thing, bless you, brother. I send you energy. I send love and forgiveness to all and everybody, and may it all, you know, be resolved in the highest light of the highest justice. And that's that, and that's all I give it to it. And I come back and I'm just like, yes, let's shuffle these cards, and I focus on where I'm going and what I wish to do, because the more you focus on you, the more you're creating your happiness in your reality, and the more we come together in happiness, the more the positive vibes will flow around the world. And that's what it's about, guys. That's what it's about. So again, media, governments, it's all in here. It's all in here. There's no time for hatred, aggression and violence and anger. Anger's okay, because anger shows you that's something we don't resonate with. We do not need to act on it. Gents, you do not need to act up like you're an alpha male trying to step in and protect, because you're not. It's about love now. This is where we're at. So it's about love, forgiveness, understanding, creation. Understanding media is not your friend. Please understand this, and then you start to see the world for what it is. Well, not the world, but you start to see media for what it is, you know. Okay, so I just wanted to say that. So just be wary. You know, if you're struggling now with all that's going on emotionally, then it's time for you to really go back into yourself, ground yourself and meditate, because it's going to get worse. It's going to get more intense, because as we raise the vibration, as above, so below, as within, so without, as that vibration rises and that drops, there's going to be more desperation of the elites. And as we all know, when people get desperate, that's when all love, understanding goes out the window. So remember that as we're going up, there's an equal reaction on the opposite end as it drops down. And as they feel that drop down, they do not want this power to slip. It's been millions of years, right? I don't want it to slip. It's slipping. It already has. We're already moving to it. But now it's about moving gracefully to it, with as little disruption and karmic energy and cosmic karma, being created. That's where we're at. We're all solving and healing our collective, cosmic and individual karma in this lifetime, whilst at the same time ensuring that we're not creating more karma, because how many people say, I don't want to come back to Earth. Now, did you know You will come back to earth if you create karma, because you need to heal that, right? So don't let them give you a reason for you to come down from that vibration, come out of the heart and create karma for yourself, whereby you're going to get thrown back in again, right? You don't want that. So the solar plexus, it's about personal power. This is what this is all about. This is what this is all about. It's all about personal power, reclaiming your divinity, reclaiming that love, reclaiming that power, and saying, you do not control me, you do not take my energy. I now reclaim that energy, I come back to myself, and I am in alignment. And that's what it's about. Simply saying that. Ladies, any abusive relationships you may have had, this is how you move through it. You move through it by stating to yourself, look in the mirror and say, this person, I am not a victim of this situation. I am taking my power back from this situation. I'm sending love and healing, and I ask for the highest of the highest vibration of justice to be enwrapped in, to be resolved within this experience. It's simply about understanding that anything which is of a negative end of the spectrum will only be healed and resolved with the higher. What was it? Albert Einstein said, you can't heal a trauma with the same thinking that created or something. I can't remember what it was, but something along those lines. So it's basically saying that it requires a new level of perception and thinking in order for us to move forward. We cannot keep reacting and acting upon the same thoughts and the same processes and keep expecting a better world to develop, because it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. How is it going to work? Is when we actually start to embody our beliefs. Guys, how many of you actually believe what you believe? Be real and be true. I truly, utterly believe I am a soul with my angels around me. I'm here on a mission to deliver my wisdom to the world. And I come through the heart of love, through unity and balance, through the masculine and the feminine, 100% always. I believe it, I embody it, you feel it, you see it. But how many people actually believe what they say they believe? Because again, beliefs, guys, solar plexus, this is where we're at. This is why I'm coming back to it. Self-empowerment. Don't say you believe something if you don't believe it. You're not being true to you. You're not being authentic. You're allowing your power to be taken from you. A true belief is an embodiment. So if you really, 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 really are saying, I am a aligned soul, I am divine, masculine, feminine, I'm here to create love, I'm here to bring a better world, then if that's what you're saying, then your words and actions should be reflecting those in every instances. Now, in those instances of injustice, pain, suffering, poverty, famine, they are the energies whereby you should be showing those aspects of yourself more fully. Those are the aspects you'll be showing yourself more fully. Because that's where you're needed, right? When there's a group of panicking people and that one person comes forward and says, look, I've got a plan, we're all right. It takes just one to try and soothe the situation, and that's what it's about. That's what it's about. You've got to reclaim that power and say, you know what? I am a divine being. I believe in me. I believe in my divinity, and I believe in my wisdom and guidance, and I will follow that, and I will reflect that in every situation. And that is why, even now, a lot of people may be disagreeing with me. A lot of people got aggressive with me with this whole George thing, but that's just the way it is, because in all what I do, I stay aligned with my thought, word and action, and I say nothing but love, forgiveness and understanding, right? And I will say this again, guys, who are we to judge, right? Was anybody George in his past life? Was anybody the copper in his past life? Maybe they had a role switch. What if George was a copper in a past life and the copper was George in a past life, and they both had the same thing happen but on the flip side, right? What I'm saying is, and I said this, whilst we send love, forgiveness and understanding to the situation, there are no victims and there are no villains. Soul chooses its experiences. And who is anybody to judge that experience, being it right or wrong? Right? Every soul chooses its experience. The good, the bad, and the ugly. We don't like to admit it, but it's true. It's just true, and you're gonna find this out more and more as we go through the next few years, guys. Over the next 2-3 years, shit's gonna get real, and things are gonna start to come into perspective, which are gonna completely change the whole world, cosmos, and universe as we know it. But before that, we've really got to start to. We've really got to start to embody what we're saying we believe in, because it's no good just putting words out on Facebook and just acting like you are being this embodiment of divinity and love, where in any moment of a lack of that, you turn to the opposite, because you're needed right then in those energies where it's injustice, poverty, pain, suffering. You are needed in those moments to be the highest light of the perception, the highest love, to show to the others that, you can always move through it. It's just a passing cloud. And that's what it's about. It's reclaiming that power, reclaiming it and saying, I'm here. I am a conscious creator of my reality. My thoughts, words and actions are affecting not just my reality, but the world around me. And I will make sure that in everything I do, will come from a place of purity, playfulness and innocence, not aggression, dominance and manipulation, because ultimately humanity comes from those energies quite a lot with all its interactions. And it's why it gets a little bit, it's why relationships get a little bit boring and a little bit tedious. So we've got to start to embody, what you're saying you believe. Bless everybody in those situations. In all situations. Right. Healing. A lot of healing going on. So over the last few days, guys, don't know about you, but I felt like the need to drink a lot of water. Haven't really felt hungry either. Anybody had that? Haven't really felt hungry. I mean, like, I put on weight, but just drank water. It's been a little bit crazy, and this is more shit that's going to happen. You are going to be, as you move up, your habits and your diets are going to change. They are going to change, because a lot of foods, a lot of meats, a lot of processed foods, low vibrational. The best foods are created with water and sunlight, and those foods are your live veg. That's not to say that it's wrong to eat meat. Every physical body needs whatever it needs in order for it to be what's the word? Nourished would be the word. So this is why, again, this is another perfect example of embodying your truth. This is why whenever I'm talking to somebody who's like a non-vegan, I don't get aggressive with them or angry with them. How many non-vegans are watching right now? And how many times have non-vegans just been really, really aggressive? Really aggressive. But in the same breath, non-vegans say that if you eat meat, that makes you animalistic. Interesting perspective, right? Now the thing is, each body needs its own nutrition for its well-being. Some bodies need meat, some bodies don't. Some bodies really need veg, some others don't. Nobody's in a position to judge what's right or wrong. You shouldn't be doing this and you shouldn't be doing that. But there's nothing wrong to say that the more we balance out the diet, so we move away from processed food and we move into the healthy food, living food made from sunlight and water, right? The more we move into that, the more we will start to kind of like feel a bit more lighter in the body, right? They use food as a means to kind of lower your vibration, and remember, the solar plexus is the stomach area. So the more they can fill that area up with all the junk, the less your energy can move around and the less you can kind of tune into it. So this is why they're always asking to kind of, you know, to pump the idea that you're hungry. Is this is your solar plexus, this is your power center. But if you feel it with, if you fill it with all this junk, that energy is just going to get cluttered. You're not going to feel it kind of rolling around. So this is why it's really, really important to really move away from like 3 heavy meals we have, isn't it? Three or four heavy meals or something, and really start to kind of listen to the body. Eat when we're actually hungry, and not when we look at the time and go, oh, it's 5 o'clock, it's tea time, right? Because we base our lives on a system which isn't real. I was actually reading a book the other day, and Heb, a higher evolved being, turned around and said, like, humanity, the only species which have created some illusion from nothing. Like, time is not even real, but we sit there and go, oh, it's tea time, it's dinner time, it's breakfast time. And what we really should be doing, again, is listening to our bodies. We're again, this is a pure example of how we're looking to the external to tell us what to do. Listen within, reclaim your power. That's what it's about. So some good things to reaffirm. So how can you heal this solar plexus? How can you move through it? Sunlight, guys, breathe into it. So in your meditations, sit up, make sure your shoulders back straight, sit up, and just into the plexus, just breathe it in. Just breathe it out. Just do that with the intention that you're pulling in that sunlight. And what that's doing, that's basically moving all that stagnant energy. And as you move those energies, you will find that more stuff of the sacral and the root will come up, because as you move this area, it will help to move all this lower, which will cause more kind of stuff to come to the surface in regards to your survival needs, in regards to your expression, creativity, fantasy, etc. Because as we open up more, we will get shown a little bit more down below that we've missed, because we just want to open fully. That's where we're going to be open fully, to move into 5D. 5 dimension is simply a perspective. It's a vibrational frequency of consciousness in which we're moving to. So, healing, lemon water. I'm actually drinking some myself. I've been drinking lemon water for the past week. And this helps to really kind of clear out your intestines and things like that. Maybe on the next call, guys, if you want to. I've got a couple of friends of mine who are really into the spiritual health. If you're all interested in that, we can get them on and ask a few questions and things. It'll be interesting. So food, guys, is another way they steal your energy. How? By making you that full and that clogged up that your energy doesn't move. It becomes stagnant, right? So be aware of just what I'm giving here is just all the perspectives of how the external world has been manipulated to keep you down here, to keep you in this low vibration, right? And again, it's all in the book. It's all in the magic book. So food, health, diet, it's all in here. As you change your vibration, as you start to heal yourself, don't be surprised if you start to wheel away from those denser foods, because it just naturally happens. The body will just kind of tell you it doesn't need it anymore, because as you raise your vibration, those low-ended, low vibrational foods, your body don't need, because your DNA is kind of reforming, regenerating, and is actually moving into an evolutionary pattern right now. And that's all I can give you for now, but maybe down the line I'll give you a bit more, but I'm just being told that's all I can give you for now. So we are in an evolutionary process, and it's really, we are being asked now, you know, it's all about the you. You can't fix the world until you fix yourself. You can't heal you until you can't heal the world until you've healed yourself, right? And this is what we're being asked to do now. Heal those cosmic, collective and individual karmas. Move out of the root to know that we are safe. Moving up to the sacred to say it's okay to express how we feel. It's okay to develop a better relationship with ourselves, because that's where you're really going to start to feel the potency of the sacral, is when you start to focus on your self relationships. As you focus on your self relationships, your relationships with others, your interactions and communications will develop with those also. And then you'll move up to this solar plexus, whereby, you know, it's about taking on challenges and being confident within those challenges, being confident within your direction, and being confident in who you are and where you're going. And that's where we're at right now. And we're going to stay in this solar plexus for the next 3 weeks. And we are going to be tested in this area. So there's going to be a lot more of reclaiming of power. There's going to be a lot more dominance being shown in front of our faces, because what that is moving out and saying we're moving away from dominance and coming into a collective empathetic energy. But remember what I said, in order for these things to be healed, they've got to come to the surface, you know. So all those things, or the lack of confidence, the lack of self-worth, every single one of you are going to be feeling and being triggered all across these points. If you haven't been doing any inner work, if you're new to all this and you're starting your inner work now, you are going to be feeling so intense, because it's going to be hitting so many points. Just breathe and just remember that you're healing, and be patient with yourself. And just remember that we're here for one another as well. You know, we're here to support one another too. So empowerment, creativity, what else have we got? Confidence. Discernment, guys, soul discernment, not using this. Everybody thinks this is your mind, right? Everyone's like, oh, I'm thinking in my mind. But you do know that this is your mind. Your entire body, every cell in your body is intelligence and holds intelligence. Did you know every cell in your body naturally evolves by itself? Obviously, because light comes into the body, light is a waveform, which then kind of like holds kind of programming, which triggers to your DNA, which is basically a laser reading a disc, and it's just reprogramming that disc as it goes round. So that's how light affects your DNA and kind of like moves up. So we're being asked now to really embody that, to really bring in as much light and as much kind of lightness as we can. And the way we're going to be asked that is through challenges, personal challenges. People who don't see the love that you are, people who have abused you in the past, people who have tried to manipulate and dominate you, will probably more than likely come back into your life. This doesn't have to be partners, this can be family and friends, and this is just simply to say you're healing here. So we want to see if you've healed it. And how does the universe know you've healed it? When you go to the situations, and this is how it all comes back together, when you go from all those situations through unconditional love. And I'll say again, as you feel these challenges arise, how do you move beyond it, and how do you heal it? So you cut all the cords and you leave it in a love, and you can move forward without any kind of karma. Same as the whole George scenario. You simply breathe in and you say, thank you, universe, for delivering this person. I understand the purpose for this person coming into my energy. I'm now here to reclaim my power. I thank this person for coming in. I now release with love, forgiveness and understanding. Bang, gone, one done. And that's how we do it. And this is what's going to be happening. You're going to have it a lot over the next few weeks. I don't really feel it'll be partners. It's not really a relationship, like sexual partnership, companionship basis. Is more to do with empowerment of the self. This is more to do with discernment of the self. This is more to do with you getting in contact with your inner self. Stop listening to this, listen to this, connect with this, align with that. And that's where we are moving to. Let's have a look. It's funny actually because I got like a website up here, and it's just simply saying, in order to heal from the past, how do you heal from the past? You go into your meditation, you visualize that situation whereby trauma may have been caused, and as hard as it may be, and in time you will do it. So if you feel like you can't do it straight away, forgive. That's fine. Nobody needs to pressurize you, and when the time's right, it'll naturally happen. But when that time's right, you'll sit there. You'll visualize the scenario of the trauma. Detach yourself from it. If it's an emotional one, you can detach yourself. And how do you detach yourself? In that moment, just say, I now detach myself from this scenario and I see it from an objective point of view. And just send Archangel Shamuel, send Lady Portia. Shamuel is the archangel energy of love, and Portia is the energy of love and justice. And what you're doing is you're changing your thought processes. You're no longer going, oh, fuck him and fuck her and fuck that and fuck this. You're actually starting to say, do you know what? There was a reason for that, and I'm going to embody this. And whilst I may not agree with everything that went on, I am grateful for the lessons and for the growth. And so from this situation, only love can come. And from this situation, only love can heal. And that's the bottom line. So that's how we do it. That's how I healed. Anybody who's read my book will know I've had, a fair bit of shit in the background. But that's how I healed my stuff. And I'm telling it you now because it helped me. And, never know, it might help you. So, we're still in the solar plexus. I just found it really interesting. I shuffled the cards. You see that? Father, husband, brother, and son. Again, that's relating to bringing into alignment equal expression of male and female. A lot of pressures on men, just as women. Let's not forget that. And so we are going to continue in the solar plexus, continue being faced with challenges. We are going to continue to be faced with challenges through media, because that's what they're there for, guys. Don't know if you know this, but that's what they're there for. Media's just there to get your reaction. Thank you, angels, for revealing to me what I need to know. Thank you, angels, for revealing to me on behalf of everybody what we need to know. May these guys blessings to everybody involved. Okay, guys. So, before I end, I just want to thank you all for tuning in. I want to thank you all for everything you're doing, from my heart to yours, from the universe to you, from the angels to you, from the cosmos working through me, talking to you. We thank you all for everything you're doing. We thank you for all the challenges that you're going through. We thank you for all the love that you're showing. We know it's difficult. We know there's so much going on and there's so much confusion and misunderstanding, but make no mistake about it. Trust and have faith. There's a better world. There really, really is. And everybody's watching. Everybody's watching, so remember to just stay in alignment with who you are. Remind yourself of who you are. Write them down. Affirmation, repetitiveness, discipline, commitment. This is what it's about. And the angels, the universe, and the higher beings, and the interdimensional being says to you, we are being asked this. Reclaim your freedom. Reclaim your power. Remind people of their freedoms. Freedom of expression. Freedom of creation. Freedom of fantasy. Freedom of exploration. Remind people that we are here to be, quite simply, to be, right? It's not always going to be this bad. There's a lot of good stuff coming. There's going to be so much. But before we can get to that, we've just got to clear all that muck out of the way. And that's what's happening. So from my heart to yours, from my angels and guides, from the higher beings, from the extraterrestrials, the aliens, and everybody involved, we thank you for doing what you're doing. Continue to do it. Continue to grow and continue to move through your challenges. Continue to see from the heart of love. Continue to put out the energy of compassion, joy. Continue to see yourself individually, collectively, and cosmically through the grandest vision of you. Just see that, the grandest vision of you, what you look like, what you feel like, what you sound like, what you're doing collectively, what we're all doing, how we're all interacting, what it looks like, what it feels like, and then universally how we're all interconnected, from extraterrestrials to human beings to other species, how we're coming together and really creating that loving energy, so the higher evolved beings and the extraterrestrials can actually come in and start to help us to evolve and move through these challenges with the technology that they have, because they're wanting to do that. But before they can do that, we've got to start losing our shit over shit that media puts on the TV. And I'll go to the final thing. Why do you think they're trying to get people in fear of an alien invasion? Why do you think that is? Because when the time comes and the other species show themselves, they want you to go into fear mode and anger and fight fire with fire. So then when the higher beings come to help us, they say fuck this and go. Right? This is what it's about. The alien invasion has got nothing to do with trying to, to create weapons. The alien invasion is simply about trying to stop humanity from being helped by anybody which is of a higher society and a higher vibration. So bear that in mind. There is no alien invasion. Whilst there are energies which are looking to cipher, those energies are already working with the Cabal and the elites ciphering it anyway, and the rest of them, well, they're on the positive end of the spectrum, and they're here to say that this system is not going to carry on. There's been too much injustice, too much imbalance, and it's not going to continue. I'm here to bring this message to you guys and to whoever hears it, and when the time's right, there'll be more people to hear this message, because the time is now. Quite simply, we are here to be free, we are not here to be slaved, and we are here to move through our karma, to grow and to elevate through consciousness. So, with that said, my beautiful, delicious goddesses and my handsome and amazing gods, thank you for tuning in. From my heart to yours, all the love, all the wisdom, all the power and all the blessings. May we all continue to grow individually. May we all continue to move and elevate. And may we merge with the 5D Earth, with Mother Earth, with Earth as one.